Okay, so yeah, this video is actually one that I've gotten a couple requests for, but I feel like it's essentially just gonna be however long of me cringing at myself. Specifically, my high school senior self, because I'm gonna be reading you guys my uchicago essays. Yeah. Okay. I feel like this is embarrassing. I'm not okay. Anyways, so when you're applying to uchicago, if you're using the Common App, which is what I use, that means that the essays that they're gonna read are your Common App essay, your Why uchicago essay, and then your what they call the Uncommon essay, which essentially is any of uchicago's lovely prompts that they provide you. And the fun thing is they also let you use past prompts, which can be cool. Lots of options there. And it's definitely a more creative option. So I'm not planning on reading my Common App essay in this or like any of my other college essays. If that is something you have a strong desire to hear for whatever reason that may be, feel free to like comment or DM me or however you feel like getting that message across, and maybe I'll do it. But as of right now, I'm just gonna go through my Uncommon essay and my Why uchicago essay. And I'm gonna start with my Why uchicago essay so I can get as much of the cringe out of the way as possible. So yeah, essentially the guidelines for the Why uchicago essay are like, you write why you wanna go to uchicago. The question, it says, word for word, is how does the University of Chicago, as you know it now, satisfy your desire for a particular kind of learning, community, and future? Please address with some specificity, sorry, I can't pronounce anything, your own wishes and how they relate to uchicago. And now is where I cringe at myself until I die, especially because like everything I talk about is like not anything like what my uchicago experience is like. But that's like totally cool, right? Yeah, totally cool. Okay, also sorry about the cuts. It's literally just like, I cringe at myself too much and then I like have to stop filming. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna start now. So yeah, I'm reading off my iPad here. I'll probably put like the essay like here on the screen or here or here or here, somewhere, so you guys can see it better. Okay, now I'm like actually gonna start, I promise. So, uchicago exemplifies originality. It is a school of character, community, and creativity. I hope to attend uchicago to find my next home. I look forward to participating in Scav Hunt, Cuvia, and attending as many doc films as I can. As a musician and costume enthusiast, I hope to perform in the University Symphony Orchestra's Halloween concert and treat myself to a $1 milkshake each Wednesday. I find the distinctive personality of the university mesmerizing and hope to take part in the many traditions and superstitions on and off campus. As a future political science major with a love for math, music, and economics, I value interdisciplinary studies like no other. With uchicago's core curriculum, I am excited to not only study politics, but to learn about biological, social, and physical sciences too, all of which will be done in a small classroom environment where I can ask questions and participate in dialogue with students and professors. Additionally, I value the freedom and flexibility offered in the quarter system and the opportunity to take such a wide variety of courses throughout this time. Lastly, I hope to attend uchicago for its outstanding Institute of Politics. I plan on taking advantage of the many events and opportunities for civic engagement offered by the Institute, and I hope to be able to participate in the Charles H. Percy Summer in Washington program. The mentorship program offered that allows students to stay with uchicago alumni is amazing, and when I move to Washington as a graduate and alumni, spoiler, that's not happening, I too look forward to paying it forward by hosting students and engaging with the next generation of free thinkers and political minds. Overall, I hope to attend uchicago so that I can join a community of diverse individuals trying to make the world a better place. So cliche. I am excited to take advantage of the unique relationship the university holds with the city and to participate in activities on and off campus. That's repetitive, okay. I love the friendly competition inspired by the housing system and can't wait to compete for the coveted Maroon Cup. If I were to describe myself in one word, it would be inquisitive. So I'd like to leave you with a question. Why not? I actually like the ending. I think that was kind of cute of me. But so, I won't talk about it too much. I think some of the pros of it, because I'm going to try to be optimistic here, is that I do mention a lot of specific things that the school offers, specific programs, specific traditions, all of which I got off of the uchicago website. Tip, if you're writing a whatever school essay, go on their website. It's not that hard. And then I also related that to my specific interests, like talking about the IOP, and stuff like that, and like wanting to like go to Washington because I like wanted to be a politician. That's not happening. I want to move to LA and be a teacher, but that doesn't matter because this was my intention at the time and it worked. I think the other thing is uchicago generally they're big on their reputation, I guess, and I think that they do have a reputation for like the like quirkiness, and so I think like the like ending it in a question and like talking about uchicago as being like original and having character, I think that's the sort of thing that did appeal to the admissions officers, but who really knows? Not me. And okay, here comes what I assume people actually watch this for, which is the uncommon essay prompts, uchicago's sort of like coveted main application essay. And so my year there were a number of prompts. Some of them were more interesting than others, like one about like unlimited breadsticks at Olive Garden and cats having 9 lives and Pac-Man having 3, things along those lines, different things to interpret in your own way. But one of the options was just to simply look at their past prompts and choose, and that's what I ended up doing. And it did take me a while. I actually ended up starting essays for like 3 different prompts before I ended up choosing mine, but the prompt I ended up choosing was find X. And yeah, I kind of liked that one because it did seem like it was one that was sort of like almost like a trick question, like how are you going to interpret it? But most of theirs do fall along those lines, so no pressure to pick a particular one, I guess. And I also think one of the nice things about these essays is that due to like the fact that there's like so much freedom to interpret them as you wish, it makes it so that like there's less expectations on the admissions end about what students are going to write about. Instead, the expectation, I feel like, is to be surprised in some sense, and I think that's kind of a cool thing. But yeah, let's get into it. I got my essay pulled up here. I did some interesting formatting things too, so I'll definitely be including this one somewhere on the screen. But yeah, when my babu, and then in parentheses I have ba-boo, noun, paternal grandfather, passed away, he left me 3 of his collections: magic tricks, VHS tapes, and books. I was still in elementary school at the time and didn't understand most of the books unless they had pictures, but there was one that stood out. It had a red cover and red was my favorite color. The cover was faded and the spine creased from years of use. I pulled it out of the box and started reading. I had always been quite competitive and board games were my favorite pastime. I loved Monopoly and chess, but most of all, Scrabble. I had never been a huge fan of reading, but I loved to write songs and stories. The thing is, I knew my 3rd grade vocabulary wouldn't get me very far. I needed to learn more words for 2 reasons: to write more songs and to win more Scrabble. The red book was a dictionary. It had lots of words I knew, but so many more that I didn't. I knew I didn't have the attention span to read all of it. I barely made it through Harry Potter, but I needed more words. Eventually, after flipping through pages and pages, not reading much at all, I made it to a page with very few words. Then here's one of my weird formatting things, and it has the like letter X but like defined, and so it says noun, the 24th letter of the alphabet, an unknown quantity, and then verb to cancel or obliterate with an X. By definition, X is an unknown quantity, but I have always known that X equals 8. On any Scrabble game there's a key. It shows the value of each letter, and X is one of the top 4. Alongside it is J, Z, and Q. 8 is 2 cubed, and 8 is a Billie Eilish song, and when 8 falls over, she becomes infinity. But perhaps most importantly, 8 was my age the year my babu died, my first experience with loss, and the first time I had ever seen my dad cry. Before his passing, Babu and I would make Jell-O and watch Disney movies on the VCR, and he would blow my mind with magic tricks. He'd take me to the theater to watch plays and musicals, but my favorite were always the ones he performed in. He was where I found X. I don't think he's watching over me, and I don't expect to meet him again when I myself pass on, but I know that while I live, I will make him proud. Babu was a passionate, creative, and humble soul who always knew how to make those around him smile. I am passionate when I debate at youth and government conferences, when I hold up my hand-painted signs at protests, when I speak to my peers and inspire them to engage with their community. I am creative when I play improvised piano solos on stage, when I practice calligraphy, when I compose my own songs, even without an audience. I am humbled when I look up at the stars and think about the billions of planets and worlds we have yet to discover, and when I write this essay knowing thousands of others are doing the same. We all have an ex, and that's why it's an unknown. It's not the same for any two people, and it may not be the same throughout one's entire life, but for now I have found mine. My ex is Jell-O and card tricks and the number 8. My ex is musicals and penguins and Disney movies. What's yours? Okay, so, I actually really enjoyed this essay, and I don't cringe at this one nearly as much as my other one, and I'm actually pretty proud of it, which is not something I can say about a lot of the things I wrote. I think some of the things that really worked in my favor for this was just some things that were coincidences. I really did love Scrabble. I really was 8 when my grandpa passed away, and the little mini dictionary really did have just 8 listings on it, and Scrabble really is worth 8. So I was able to use a genuine connection I had made of these 8s reoccurring in my life. And then my Babu is always someone who I've looked up to. And so I think being able to talk about him was something that is really emotional and powerful for me, which makes it so that I can be more creative about it. But I think that one of the issues people often run into when they're writing college essays that are sort of about another person, because this was about my Babu, my grandpa, this was about him. And it was about him as a mentor to me and someone I look up to. I think what's important though is that I was still able to tie it back to myself and my own experiences. And so for instance, towards the end when I say that he was passionate, creative, and humble, I then go on to have 3 mini paragraphs explaining how I now try to exude those qualities in a way to make him proud. And so I guess that's one tip, is if you do choose to write something about someone else or about a family member, a teacher, any sort of mentor, make sure that it's coming back to you, not just oh, I look up to this person so much because they do this. More I look up to this person, which is why I do this. You always want to make your essays about yourself, and it's okay to brag in them. And I think also people talk a lot about trauma porn and how that appeals to colleges, and there definitely is some truth to that. But I think you can do that without necessarily talking about your deepest traumas, which I definitely did not do in my college essays, but I was still able to talk about some things that are emotional. I mean, death is always an emotional thing, and I think that it's possible to sort of find that balance. But also if you had an experience that was something challenging for you and you would like to use it for this as some sort of almost reparations for that experience, sure, use it, but make sure that that's something you're actually comfortable with, because I feel it would hurt a lot more if you got rejected to a school after writing this deep traumatic thing that essentially re-traumatizes you and then you don't get in. And of course it's not because of that, but I think that that could be a pretty painful experience. And I know even in some of my other college essays, I wrote about some things about growing up low income and moving around a lot. And I think that if there was a school I was really passionate about and I got rejected after writing about something like that, it would have hurt, it would have stung a bit. And so it's something to be conscious of. Use it if you will, but don't do something you're not comfortable with sharing. And I mean, clearly this is something I'm comfortable with, I'm putting it on the internet, but you don't have to be that comfortable with it, just comfortable enough that you'd be able to handle the rejection either way, because college admissions really is a game, and I think it's less of a game like chess and more of a game like Scrabble even, because there is some strategy to it, but a lot of it's chance. And in Scrabble, if you don't pull tiles that work for you, you're not gonna do as well. And so, wow, that was a kind of fun metaphor, and it connects to my essay. Wow, so cool. So true, bestie. Sorry, I'm so cringe. But yeah, no, okay, I think that's about all I have to say. I'm sorry that this week wasn't a dorm tour. Yesterday, I was feeling pretty sick, and while I did test negative for COVID, I was still like kind of like almost like bedridden. I spent all day yesterday kind of doing nothing, and I was not able to go to class because I did have COVID symptoms. And so I did not film a dorm tour, and my room is a little messy, but hopefully that'll be out next week, and I hope that this video will suffice for now. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.